Hey everybody, this is Thomas. I'm doing the podcast by myself this week. London had a bit of a personal emergency involving work. So it's just going to be me. I'm talking about both The Lost City of Z and one of my favorite movies, Night of the Living Dead. But before we get into that, or before I get into that, I guess it's just me this week. I guess let me start with what I've been doing. This week I played a little bit of that new game from the Dark Pictures anthology series, Man of Medan, which is from the people who did Until Dawn. That game is absolutely pretty corny, but... the fuck? Holy shit!
Thomas!
London!
Thomas, I'm here!
Oh, I thought it was just going to be me today.
I ran all the way.
Oh.
Woo!
All right, well...
How did you get into my house?
Joe let me in.
Ah. Okay. Hey, everybody. You started without me?
I thought it was me this week. My bad.
What movie are we on?
Well, I was just talking about...
Are you just wrapping up?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were you talking about before I ran in?
Okay, have you ever played or heard of Until Dawn before?
Yeah. Played a little bit of it.
Yeah, the same team that did that.
Man of Medan or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a little gameplay of it. Any good?
I enjoy it. It's kind of like Until Dawn. It's a lot cornier than Until Dawn is. It's a lot cheaper.
Until Dawn was pretty corny.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. I enjoy it. I've heard...
I know it's getting kind of mixed reviews on like Steam at least, which is the only place I've really looked.
Yeah. Yeah, like the story and the stuff is kind of just standard. The characters, I mean, I've only played 2 times.
Have you played as the man?
From
Medan?
It's multiplayer, so when you... It can be. That's like the thing with this one and the future ones that they're doing from this point on.
Was Until Dawn their first project?
I don't know. I honestly don't know much about the behind the scenes. I know that Until Dawn was... I think it might have been the first project that studio had spit out. I can't remember the name of them, but I know that they teamed up with Bondi to make this one.
Okay.
And the future games. Until Dawn is kind of like the formula setter for this. It very much follows the formula of Until Dawn. There's like something that happens in the past and you play that in the beginning, and then as you're going through and playing these characters and how you shape them, whether they're assholes or good people, and whether they all try to help each other survive or kind of fight for themselves, while you're uncovering this kind of dark thing that happened in the location that you're at. And yeah, in that sense, it's very much like Until Dawn, but the characters are different. I like Until Dawn, I think, a fair amount more than I like Man of Medan, but
you're still enjoying it at least?
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. It's a lot shorter, and they, at the end of Man of Medan, they have a teaser for the next game that they're going to be releasing, because it's like a horror anthology, and
King Kong.
It's called Little Hope.
Okay.
From what I can gather, it's got werewolves and potentially witches. And what's that actor's name? William Coulter, I think?
William Poulter? Will Poulter?
The dude who is almost it. He was in like We Are the Millers.
And Bandersnatch?
Yeah.
Will Poulter.
He is
Forgot
going...
he was almost Pennywise.
Yeah. He is in the Little Hope teaser, so he's going to be in the next game they release. And I'm hoping that
is it live action?
No, it's like Until Dawn, where they like motion capture actors.
Okay. I'm just like, nope, bring back the FMV.
Yeah.
I mean, because Bandersnatch is pretty much like a choose your own adventure, like video game. It's pretty much like Until Dawn is it's
the movie format,
pretty
version.
Much. So I'm just like, oh, I see Bandersnatch 2, Little Hope.
Exactly. So I'm excited for that one. I'm hoping that one kind of breaks away from the formula that these Until Dawn and Man of Dawn followed, which it doesn't look like it's in like a isolated location, which might help it out a bit. But yeah, I'm excited for it. That one's dropping some point 2020. There's no exact date.
When the president is inaugurator. Or inaugurator. Sorry.
I am the president, the inaugurator.
Inaugurator.
But yeah, what did you do this week?
I watched some films. Like you do. I played A Hat in Time, which is like a 3D platformer. It was okay.
Okay.
I'm still playing through it. I beat the main story because you only need a little bit to it's like Mario, like Super Mario 64 or any of the Marios. You only need a certain amount of stars to go fight the final boss, but there's a bunch more to do. It's like that. And I fought the final boss just to see it. And I'm enjoying it. The camera's really fucking janky and
it's just like Mario 64.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I'm playing an N64 game. That came out 2 years ago. The camera's janky, and I don't really like any of the boss battles. And I didn't like the first world, but it's still enjoyable.
Yeah, I guess
it's all right.
A fun time passer.
Fun time passer. Yeah, I played through a game called Cat Quest.
Cat Quest.
Yeah, it's like a 2D, or it's like a 2.5D action RPG.
Okay.
So you're on a big plane that you can move in a 3D environment, but everything's 2D animated.
Yeah, I know the type of game.
That was kind of fun. I beat it. I beat the main quest storyline in 4 hours. I don't know if I'm going to play anymore because it's pretty repetitive. It was fun though. It was they were trying to be cutesy with it and have cat puns in every single bit of dialogue, and that was pretty annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be grating after a
funny,
bit.
Especially after twice. Yeah. It might be fun if you're a child, but it's not even really marketed towards kids that much. It was fun though. I played I bought Dynasty Warriors 7 on Steam.
Oh, nice.
Because I don't really know why, because I've beaten that game 9 times. I just really like Dynasty Warriors.
I feel it.
And I was almost going to buy 8 because I do like 8 a lot, but 7 was $20 and 8 was $60.
Makes sense.
I'm okay with the $20. I'm a there.
You gotta itch that, or you gotta scratch that Dynasty Warriors itch, and one of them was very cheaper than the other.
Yeah, and at home, I got the Berserk game that I can play, because I just love Muso games. And then let's see. Did I watch anything epic this week? I rewatched A Knight's Tale.
Oh, yeah?
Because I really like that movie.
How'd it hold up?
I thought it held up very well. I really like A Knight's Tale. They invented Queen.
Queen as
the band?
That...
The beginning of the movie starts with them playing We Will Rock You. And, the people in the stands are, clapping along to it. When I was a child, and I saw this movie, and me and my dumb brain, I thought this was, a song from the medieval times. Because I hadn't heard it before. And that was, the first time I heard it. I'm like, oh. And then I heard Queen, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. They're covering a song that's, 500 years old.
Yeah.
Because I'm stupid. And then what I've been doing is I have a new thing on Letterboxd where it's called Creators of Letterboxd, where I'm looking through a bunch of my friends, my followers and stuff, and I'm finding films that they've made, short films or feature-length films, and I'm curating a list after I watch them of where you can watch them and the users, just to try to use my follower count to be hey, look at these guys, they've made stuff, they're on Letterboxd, support independent filmmakers, especially ones that that make $1 little 3-minute films because they have no money.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. I follow a guy named Ken Rudolph. he's really cool. He's probably like 70, but he has like his letterbox has like 2,500 reviews, and his site that's linked has like 8,000 reviews just from like over the last like 19 years. But he has a bunch of like short films he made from like the 70s, and that's what got me started on this. I'm like, I should watch this, and I watched one of them, and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it, and then I got to like emailing him, and we've had like a little correspondence. It's been great.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I also watched Tusk. And I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it a lot. And I like the Human Centipede.
Yeah,
and
it's
Tusk felt like they were trying to go for the same thing.
Yeah, I saw it when it like first came out, like back in like what, 2014?
Have you seen Yoga Hosers?
No, after Tusk.
It's a sequel.
After Tusk, I was like, oh,
there's another one coming out too. A zombie Moose Jaws. Moose
Jaws. Is that one still? Because I know.
Or did it get canceled?
It might have got canceled because he's been working on the new Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie. Mm-hmm. But he went through that period because Kevin Smith had that heart attack a couple years ago. And he was like, I'm totally fine if I die here. I've lived like a great life. But please don't let my last movie be Yoga Hosers. And he survived. And he's like, well, shit, I'm going to make the thing I promised my fans years ago. And he wanted to make Clerks 3. But there was a falling out with one of the main actors. I think it's pretty much confirmed that it's Jeff Anderson at this point, who's the dude who plays Randall.
I haven't seen Clerks. I've been meaning to. I've heard it's great.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I grew up watching it though, so I
think I've only seen like 4 Kevin Smith films. One of them being Tusk, unfortunately. I also saw Dogma. I really like Dogma. I saw Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, that one's good. Yeah. I think it's funny.
I saw Zack and Miri
make a porno,
which I also think is pretty decent.
That's another one that I saw like when it first came out.
Yeah, I saw it like 3 years ago and I enjoyed it. So
yeah. You enjoy all the Star Wars references?
No, I mean Kevin Smith is a little too. There's a documentary called "The Death of Superman Lives," which is a documentary about the death of Superman Lives, the one with Nicolas Cage, directed by Tim Burton, that was supposed to come out, and he wrote a script for that.
Yeah, he has like some Q&As.
It's a terrible script. It's a terrible script.
Do you know the story behind that script? Kevin Smith does like these like Q&A panels, or he did like back in like 2007, 2008, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he talks in depth about his involvement with that. And basically he went to Warner Brothers and was like, I've got this sick idea for like a Superman movie. You guys have been trying to make another one. I've got it. And he wrote this script, and he like kept getting calls back and would basically like explain like his little plot synopsis to whoever, like different producers, and they're like, this is great, this is great, this is great. We got one guy though that you gotta talk to, and there was this crazy fucking producer who kept like, okay, I like it, but you gotta do this, and Kevin's just like, all right, whatever to get this Nick Cage Superman movie made, and would add stuff in. Like giant spiders.
They interview that guy in the movie.
Yeah.
And he says that he's like, why the fuck would I want to add a giant spider?
Well,
so it's funny.
He later went on to produce Wild Wild West, which has giant fucking spiders in it. So
yeah, it's a great movie. It's fun. It's not great. I wouldn't say it's good either, but the last time I watched it, I had fun with it. But that was also a while ago.
Yeah. So I think just based off like that little piece of evidence, I think I'd take Kevin Smith's word over his on that one.
No, but Kevin Smith usually puts too many references and things for me.
Yeah, I think
like I don't.
I agree for the most part. There are some like I
this
think
isn't how people talk. No,
I think it works in like Clerks, but a lot of like the references can be a little over the top sometimes. I think it also works in Mallrats, but those are like
Isn't Mallrats like kind of like Clerks?
Mallrats is like Clerks in a mall.
1.5.
Essentially. And it's not as good as Clerks, but I think it's a really enjoyable.
I've been meaning to watch Clerks, Mallrats, and Clerks 2 for a while.
Yeah. I'd say
I probably will right after I watch Yoga Hosers.
I'd say the holy quadrilogy is Clerks, Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Clerks 2. Chasing Amy.
That's 4.
Quadrilogy.
Oh. Well, then that's 5.
Quad is 4.
Yeah, but you just said Chasing Amy, which would be 5.
Well, Chasing Amy, because I was in the middle of a thought.
Oh.
Chasing Amy, I haven't seen since I was like 10. And the kind of subject matter in that movie
Isn't it about a guy like
who falls in love with a lesbian
and turns her?
From what I remember, light spoiler alert, because I haven't watched those movies since I was 10 and I don't really remember exactly how it ends. They date for a little while, but I think she ends up leaving him and going back to being a lesbian, if I remember correctly. But I don't know. I haven't seen the movie since I was like 10, and the subject matter.
It just seems like Kevin Smith is the type of person that thinks that a man could turn a lesbian.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the character's like struggle throughout the movie, is that he's a character who kind of believes that. But this is all like based off what I remember.
Yeah. I mean, I'll eventually watch it. I just kind of dread that one.
Yeah.
But Tusk was terrible.
Yeah.
I thought Justin Long was pretty good in it, though.
Yeah, Justin.
I wish he was in good movies.
He's in a cop.
I mean, he was in Dodgeball.
Yeah, he's in Dodgeball.
I really like Dodgeball.
He's in fucking Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest is an amazing movie.
I agree.
Fucking love Galaxy Quest.
Oh, I hate Tim Allen, but I love Galaxy Quest.
It's so... and he's really good in it, too.
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest is...
Alan Rickman's also on Galaxy Quest. Oh, that is such a good movie.
And Tony Shalhoub.
Who?
You know, Minion from Spy Kids. This guy.
Oh, yeah. He's the monk guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Monk. And Sam Rockwell.
And the guy in 13 Ghosts. He's the dad in that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Sigourney Weaver. She's in that.
She is. Yeah. Fuck.
Galaxy Quest is such a stacked cast. And honestly, it's
Galaxy
the best
Quest in a while.
You know, I love Star Trek, but it's the best Star Trek movie I've seen.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, but I haven't
seen Wrath of Khan, though.
See, that is the reason why I'm like, I don't know if I can agree with that. Wrath of Khan I really enjoy. Might be a little overrated, but...
Yeah, but
it
looks good, but...
Like, I still think it's like a great movie. But yeah.
Let's just talk about Galaxy Quest today. No,
I haven't seen
Remember
it.
the dude with the rock? No.
Probably longer. I think the last time I watched that movie, I was like 12.
I think I've watched it in the last, 3 or 4 years.
I think I'm going to have to rewatch it here soon.
That's going to be your pick for today.
No, I already came in with my pick locked, so.
Let's see. I also watched a movie called Daddy Issues. And believe it or not, it was not good.
Wow.
Yeah. It oversimplifies a lot of kinks in it and polygamy.
I was going to ask what it was about, but then you said kinks. I'm like, oh, dad, yeah.
I mean that, but it's also about a woman who has daddy issues. I'm like, ugh. And I'm just like, I love it that every film that portrays a kink, it stems from trauma. It's like, you can't just be a regular person with a kink. It's like, no, you had some brutally awful thing happen to you as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I can see with certain kinks, but like,
I mean,
there are some like fetishes that are pretty fucking harmless that I feel like wouldn't result from trauma. But
like, I'm just saying this is a pretty well-adjusted adult that, you know, is in the kinkosphere a lot.
oh,
Like, I have a billion. That I don't really have any trauma. I don't think. Like, I have to hang out with you, but that's about it.
that's fair enough.
And it's just, it leaves a yucky taste in my mouth when films do that all the time.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, actually, I watched a movie. A couple weeks ago, I watched a movie called Ghost Team with John Hader, which was really bad.
Okay.
But I was like, I really want to watch a good movie with John Hader. So I watched a movie that came out like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago.
Refresh my mind.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay. Because I was picturing Bill Hader in my head. I'm like, that's not right. That's not right.
Maybe it's Header.
I think it's
Heder, but I don't know if it's Hader.
I always pronounced it Heater. I think is how I always pronounced it.
Well, anyway, I watched a movie about him being a manager at a bowling alley. It was called When Jeff Tried to Save the World, and it was like kind of just like this indie like drama, but I really liked it. I was like, it was really depressing.
I tend to like
indie dramas a lot, but it's on Hulu if anyone wants to watch it. I really enjoyed it. It's a slow burn, but I really enjoyed it.
Remember when he was in Blades of Glory?
Hinatea, my girlfriend, loves that movie. I like it. Like, I don't...
I remember liking it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's been a while. I like the Kanye West sample. When he samples Blades of Glory. It gets the people going.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's provocative.
It gets the people going. New Kanye today.
I read a post that said new Kanye today like 3 days ago and no new Kanye.
It was supposed to come out Friday. But then, like yesterday, he had a listening party in Chicago. Like, people have heard the album.
Yeah.
So it should come out today.
It should.
Yeah. And he also made a movie.
Oh.
Like a documentary or something that's coming out later this year called Jesus is Lord.
Yeah. I am excited because I like new Kanye music, but I don't know if I'm going to necessarily... I don't know if this will be a top album for me, just simply because it seems like...
What?
The album is...
heavily religious?
Yeah.
See, I usually agree with things like that, but, like, College Dropout... and Life of Apollo, which both lean, like, decently on religion, are my favorite.
It all depends on how much it leans on religion. Because based off, like, the title, I would expect it to lean a lot. Because, like, College Dropout and Life of Pablo, while they both have, like, the religious themes in them.
And I don't know, like, Jesus Walks, I think, is, like, one of his best songs.
Yeah. It's a great song.
So we'll see.
But
hopefully it comes out today. If not, I'm going to cry. Been waiting a year. It's been exactly 1 year since Yandhi was supposed to be released. So...
Has it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Time is fleeting and I'm dying.
When I read that, I'm like, I'm gonna die soon, aren't I?
It's like, oh, great, I'm gonna be fucking on my deathbed before I even fucking realize it. It'll be like that mentality where I'm like, where I'm like at the beginning of my shift at work and it's like, oh, don't worry, the end of my shift will be here before I know it. That's gonna be the end of my life.
Are you ready to move on to audience questions?
Yeah.
Okay. We got two.
We got two?
Yeah. This first one comes from my buddy Jojo. Hey, Jojo. Under which presidency did the highest concentration of great movies come out?
Oh, God, I don't fucking...
I thought about this for a long time, because obviously I read this before you.
Yeah.
You think about this. And I was like looking through lists, but honestly, I'm just going to have to say it was FDR, because he was president for 12 years. Like, solely because like, that was right when, like, Hitchcock was, like, hitting his stride,
And, like, that's in that period of time is when, like, Casablanca came out, I believe. And, when did Citizen Kane come out?
Citizen Kane came out...
Was it, like, 41?
I'm trying to remember if it's 41 or 31.
I don't think it was 31. Citizen Kane came out...
It might have been 41.
41.
Yeah.
So that was, like, right in the middle of... Or near the end of FDR, but... And, like, even stuff that I don't like Wizard of Oz, and it's, like, thinking about everything that happened during Wizard of Oz grosses me out, because it's really sad. But, like, it was a pretty influential film. So I would have to say that.
Very significant.
Especially because, like, my other favorite, like, timeline of films is, like, in the past, like, 10 years, but I think it's too early to really, like, be like, yeah, it's been that was the best year.
Yeah, see, the thing is, it's...
Like, I don't want to just go Obama, because Spy Kids 4 came out during...
Yeah, I think with your logic there, I'd have to agree with you. And also because I didn't do the research. The only other person I would maybe, like, say... I like a lot of, like, 60s movies. So, like, Kennedy, maybe, but I don't... See, that's rough, because he wasn't, like, president the entirety of the 60s, and I'd have to look at, like, that, like, window of when he was president and see if it lines up. Yes, I'll keep this question in mind, and I will do a little research when I'm at home and, like, look at years that movies came out.
Thomas is going to re-answer next week.
Yes, and I will... Maybe I'll give the exact same answer, because that's a very good point that you make, that he was president for longer, and the time period in which he was president, some of the most influential films to cinema that would inspire future generations to this very day came out. So it's like, But...
This next one comes from Pierre.
Okay.
For this, we have to look each other in the eyes and hold hands.
Okay.
First question. There's two questions. First question. Do you think it's time for an Air Bud reboot?
Air Bud reboot.
Yeah, you know Air Bud?
Yeah, I'm very aware of Air Bud.
Do you think it's about time for a reboot?
Are they not still making Air Buddies?
I would assume they're still making them, but maybe it's time to reboot it, make it like hard R. Like, they're criminals, like...
Air Bud, but he's a cop instead of a basketball dog.
Yeah.
Wait,
he just goes
there's
around
probably like a shit ton of movies like that. Like, there's that one movie, K9, with Jim Belushi. There's Turner
Jim
and
Belushi in that? Oh, yeah. Now I remember that movie. I've seen it. Okay, second question. What is the second worst film ever made? Specifically, Pierre said this because he said, we all know Eraserhead is the first. So what's your least favorite film, Tom? Like, what's the worst film?
I don't know. Like, I'm not one of those people who tends to, like, lock in a pick for worst.
Yeah.
I just kind of go, oh, that movie was bad, and I just throw it on a pile of shit, and I try to never think of it again. I'm one of those guys who tries to, like, retain, like, good movies.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard to, like, say something as objectively the worst or anything, because, like...
It's all very personal.
And a lot of really bad movies, you can at least have some enjoyment if you, like, watch it with some friends. So, like, the worst movie is just, like, something that's really bad and really boring, but it's, like, Birdemic is really bad, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
But honestly, the only thought I have is, like, I really, really hate propaganda films. Like, so, like...
Fair.
I'm gonna say it. From last year, Sergeant Stubby is one of the worst films I've seen.
Yeah, Sergeant Stubby was
this
pretty
year,
bad.
Unplanned was really bad.
It's funny, because
Unplanned I thought was funny.
I wasn't watching.
You were watching Sergeant Stubby.
No, but when I was watching the fucking Lost City of Z, I got... When they were in the trenches, I was like, what? Where's Sergeant Stubby? Where is he? But yeah. Yeah, I don't fucking know. Ghostbusters 2016. No.
I like that movie.
I don't like that movie.
but it's hype. I'm gonna go and get another soda.
Okay.
So what's your least favorite film? Just what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Is it Ghostbusters 2016?
No. I don't like Ghostbusters 2016, but I don't like hate it to the point
Yeah,
where
saying it's like the worst movie ever is a little bit of a stretch.
yeah, I think it's a total like abomination and has nothing to do with Ghostbusters really.
They bust ghosts.
It's like, why didn't you like just make a different fucking ghost hunting franchise then? Oh, because you wanted to cash in on the fucking Ghostbusters name. But yeah, probably honestly when I think of a movie that
Amazing Spider-Man 1.
no,
Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
that's pretty bad.
That's my least favorite superhero movie.
I think the movie that honestly offended me the most in my entire life was Last of the Living.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Because that movie, I watched it when I was 12, and I kept it because I'm like, this movie is so fucking bad that I'm gonna watch it again one day. And I did.
Now you can travel back in time and go, why did you do that to me? Punch him in the face.
You fucking stupid piece of shit 12-year-old. Why did you buy this fucking bargain being zombie movie? You fucking right! But yeah, you watch anything else this week?
No.
No?
I mean, a couple things, but nothing. No, just like a bunch of shorts by people. And the movies. Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear a fucking... I guess it's funny. I was kind of mortified when it happened, but a funny work story?
Yeah. Did you fall on the thing again?
No, I didn't. I was...
Who pooped your pants?
No.
No.
Thankfully not. So I was walking down the hallway.
That is funny.
And I'm a terribly anxious person. I have like horrible anxiety around people I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know anyone at my work outside of like my small crew. So I like just kind of like stand against the walls. And I don't know. I have like this dilemma when I walk down hallways, really long hallways where it's like someone will be like coming my way. And it's like, do I make eye contact with this person? Do I look straight ahead? I don't know what to fucking do. So I just like fucking like look at the walls most of the time.
I don't want to talk to somebody. I just look like busy and angry. Like I'm just like I like start walking quicker and like I put like a
kind of like concerned look.
I try to like
I'm going.
I try to like I get into the mental process where I walk by somebody. I'm like, don't be anxious, and then I just feel like I come off as like 10 times more anxious. But anyway, that's just a bit of context. So I'm like just fucking walking against the wall. I'm like staring at the wall because I don't want to like fucking stare at the people in front of me. And there are 3 waitresses who work at the bar, and they're all like wearing cocktail dresses and whatever. I'm just like walking, staring at the wall.
Hey, looking good.
No, someone from behind me gives the classic like. I suck at whistling. And they all just turn and glare at me, and I'm just like. For like a split second, my stomach dropped. I'm like, oh god, no. But then their eyes lit up when they saw it was their friend behind me. And for a split second, I'm like, oh my god. Because I've got like the worst anxiety, and then that happened, and I'm just like, oh shit, am I gonna lose my job? Oh my god, I was terrified. But... yeah, so that was a funny little story that happened to me at work.
That would make me extremely nervous as well.
Yes. Because I think they hid, like, in the general area behind me for a second, which is why I think they were like, what the fuck, for a second.
We're gonna beat this little kid up.
It wasn't that, but it was just like, oh my god. I don't want to, like, have a fucking sexual harassment, like...
yeah. Be like, I can't even whistle, look! Oh, shit! That would be my excuse, because I actually can't whistle.
I can, I just need to, like, basically, like, warm up and get into the mode of whistling. Make sure, like, my lips aren't too dry. I got the right, like, O.
Sound like a ghost. Stop sounding like a ghost. Can see ghosts sometimes. Okay.
Ghosts sometimes.
Do you have your movie idea for the week?
I do.
Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go?
Here, you go.
Okay. Have you seen Life is Beautiful?
No.
Have you heard of it?
I don't.
It's a French film. It's about this guy. It's during the Holocaust and World War II. So, him and his son get taken to a concentration camp. But he's like this lovable, goofy guy, and he tries to hide the fact that like people are dying from his son. It's like, so he's like doing all these like funny things for his son and like hiding him from all these horrors and like
Giving him extra food so that like he doesn't starve and he's like starving himself.
Yeah.
it's a very sad film. Very brutal, very good. But it got me thinking. I'm like, okay. There's a teacher. She's like a kindergarten teacher. And there's a zombie apocalypse going on outside. And she's like shielding the children. She's trying to keep them like out of the know. So she's just like, they're like running around. They're like, why can't we go outside? She's like, oh, there's a storm.
Yeah. Recess is canceled. Also, no dismissal today.
And no, close the windows. Don't look at them.
Yeah. What about our parents? I'm your parents.
I just like the idea of like something brutal happening.
Yeah.
And like trying to shield people's innocence from it. Life is Beautiful is a really good movie. You should watch it.
Huh. All right. Mine is about a movie reviewer, but he's got like the mentality of like a Pokemon trainer.
He's bald. He wears a funny hat. And he reviews Pink Floyd's The Wall. And he does it by making his own rendition of the album. And it's better than the original.
Tonight, I think I'm gonna like rewatch The Wall and then watch the review like immediately after.
I listened to the album, like the Nostalgia Critic album.
I heard it got pulled off Spotify.
I listened to some of it like yesterday on Spotify. Yeah, it's still on there.
Oh, it's still on there?
Yeah, bam.
That was just something I had heard, because I heard that there was like some questioning whether like it fell under fair use or not, and whether like Spotify was like, should we allow this on our platform? But
album's not very good.
Yeah, that seems.
I watched most of the review. Like it's cringe, but it's not any more cringe than like the regular Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah,
like it's people are freaking out over it. I'm like,
from what
it's just a regular Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah, that's pretty much like from the things that people are saying about it. Like, because I see everyone talking about it online. I'm like, this is just nostalgia.
Have you not heard of Nostalgia Critic before?
Yeah, this is nothing new, and it's not even his first fucking musical. He did like Les Mis and
yeah.
Wow, what's that other one that he did? The one that has fucking like it's got like Nicole Kidman and Ian
Chicago,
not Chicago, or Ewan McGregor.
Ewan.
Is that how? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I think it's Ewan.
Ewan.
You're thinking of Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
Great movie.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
No.
Great movie.
I've seen clips from it. I've seen like some of
Ewan McGregor's a beautiful singer. He has a great voice. I wish he would do more.
I mean, he's a great man.
Yeah. Go see Dr. Sleep in theaters soon. No.
Hopefully that's good.
Hopefully. I'm a little worried.
The director, it seems
he
like...
doesn't know how to make a third act.
The trailers have been leaning on, like, well, I guess I'm kind of generalizing there. I've only seen one trailer for it, so I shouldn't say trailers, plural.
Were you going to say shit side?
I was going to say it leans a little too much on Shining, from what I've noticed. Especially since I haven't read the book, but I hear that the book really... I read like the first few pages of it, And it does reference The Shining, but from what I hear, like, The Shining's not very, like, relevant. And
Well,
it's just
originally the film was supposed to have nothing to do with the Shining movie.
And I know that, like,
and the director, like, pushed towards it. Like, he convinced Stephen, because Stephen King hates that movie.
Yes.
But he pushed for it. He's like, dude, you fucking idiot. It's better than your book. No.
I don't know if I'd necessarily say that. I think they're different. And I think that Stephen King's book works in the medium of a book. And I think it could... I think they could remake it if they had, like, a competent filmmaker behind it, but...
Yeah, so we'll see how Dr. Sleep goes.
Did I finish my film idea?
No.
I was gonna say...
Not at all.
So it's about a film review. Oh, yeah, because you brought up fucking bald head, funny hat, nostalgia critic wall. But basically, it's about a film reviewer who has the mentality of, like, a Pokemon trainer. He's like, I've got to review them all.
Is it me?
I mean, they're very close. You're like heading that direction. And basically, like, he just starts, like, I don't know, he starts like a quiz, like an online game show type thing. Not like Nostalgia Critic. I know that sounds like Nostalgia Critic, because he had that. But basically it's like where him and other, like, movie reviewers get together, and they basically, like, imagine, like, Pokemon battles, but with movie reviews, where basically, like, it's like a debate kind of deal, where they gotta, like, debate their opinions on the movie, and, like, someone will, like, come out triumphant, basically, over, like, debate tactics. I don't know. This is just an idea.
I like it. You know what I don't like? People that, like, memorize, like, useless trivia on films, but can't talk about, like, the themes of it. Well, it's fine to know a bunch of trivia on it. But if you can't talk about, like, the inner workings and the themes and, like, the feelings that are exuded from the film, then it's just like, what's the point of watching it?
I feel like a lot of people just don't understand, like, themes and, like, how you can kind of have something under the surface with a film. They might, like, because when I was, like,
that's why I think Ad Astra is doing kind of bad.
Critically, it's doing amazing, but...
Well, yeah, that's always, like, the critical versus, like, the general audiences.
It might just be people downvoting on purpose on Rotten Tomatoes, though. Like, it happens occasionally, just a bunch of people making a bunch of accounts and doing it. Because, like, on IMDb, Letterboxd, Metacritic, like, the user scores are all fine there. But Rotten Tomatoes, you go, it's like 40%.
It's not bad enough that they have fucking mass likings for movies that aren't even fucking out yet, or just have, like, that giant fucking, like, comic book following. But on top of that,
Batman versus Superman.
They gotta go and mass dislike actually fucking competent, well-made movies. God, I love the industry and how film. God, I love general audiences. God. Jova, my guy. Yahweh.
Do you want to jump into the films we're talking about today?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to start with? Classic?
Classic. That's what we do every other week.
Yeah. Alright. So this movie, Night of the Living Dead, directed by George Remero, made by Image 10 Productions. Because crediting this movie simply just to George Romero would be a huge disservice. Because...
yeah, they all need to take the blame for this atrocity. Just kidding.
I mean, I can understand why someone wouldn't like this movie. It's very low budget. It's from the 60s.
It's aged a lot.
Yes. I personally fucking love this movie. Everything I say about it is going to be super biased because this is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't remember. I know I put one of the 3 Living Dead movies on my top 15 list. I don't remember which one.
I think it was Dawn.
Yeah, I think it was Dawn because Dawn is the one I've seen the most out of all of them.
I think I'd probably like Dawn the most as well because I like the setting of them. It's the one in the mall, right?
Yeah. Have you seen Dawn yet?
No, I've seen the Zack Snyder remake.
Yeah.
When I was like a kid, and I thought it was like the most epic movie ever. Because it is pretty epic.
No, I actually really like that remake. I think it's like a good example of what a remake should be, where it's like you take like the basic synopsis of a film and then you do something completely different. Because it's
And
not.
Zack Snyder's gross, weird, grimy aesthetic works with it.
It does. It really does, and it helps that this is like his first movie, probably, and or his first like. I think this is like his like big
one,
feature
yeah.
debut, and he was probably trying a lot harder than he probably would today. Where he's like, yeah, I've already made it. Whatever. I always wonder like why directors go sour. That's like one of the biggest questions I have.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Night of the Living
Yes.
Dead now,
And
so.
Thomas will be very biased, and I will be unbiased because I haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
So it'll be a nice little discussion.
So the movie, the two biggest credits to it are George Romero and John Russo. And in case a little bit of film trivia history here, there was a bit of a like legal dispute over who got the like name Living Dead for like the following sequels that they would go up and make. And John Russo won the case and got the rights to like have the official titled sequel to Night of the Living Dead. And John Russo, God bless him, is terrible at making movies. He is behind the notorious 30th anniversary cut of this movie, where they tried to, or they didn't try to, they went and like shot new footage and new scenes for it. And they even had Bill Heinzman, who is the opening zombie, return and reprise his role. And it's very noticeable. It's very bad.
Yeah, it's 30 years, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
So that's why he, like, Return of the Living Dead got made. He basically...
Whoa, have you seen Santa Claus by John Russo?
No, I haven't.
Look at this poster.
That looks about right. That looks about the tier of quality that he makes. But basically, he's like, I've got a script for this for this Night of the Living Dead sequel, which the studio was like, this is shit. Let's get someone to rewrite this. And bam, that's where Return of the Living Dead came from.
Okay. What, Dan, the director, rewrote it, right?
Yeah. And there's a documentary on YouTube called, I think it's More Brains, that covers the first two Return of the Living Dead movies, which we're not covering Return of the Living Dead, but I highly recommend that one too. That one's
fun.
That one's really fun.
It has the voodoo guy from the Scooby-Doo live action movie.
It does. Pierre, you probably like that movie. I'm just taking a wild shot at her.
Pierre would like that one.
And
It's from before the 90s, but it's one of the good ones.
yeah, it's really great. It's where the whole cliche of zombies eating brains comes from, even though I think I've maybe seen 1 to 2 other zombie movies where they eat brains, but really it's the 99% of zombie movies are like flesh-eating zombies.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this film was made in 1968. It opens up on some shots of some back roads and a car driving. Barbara and her brother Johnny are going to visit their mother's grave on a nice Sunday evening, late afternoon.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah, we had to take a bit break. Okay, so Johnny, Barbara, going, visit, grave. Oh, and then right as some news is coming on the radio, Johnny turns it off because why the fuck would he sit there and listen to it? He wasn't really paying attention. That's going to come back to bite him in the ass. Not really. It's
More in the neck.
yeah. So basically, They visit the mom's grave. Barbara is a very, like, kind of, I don't know, proper-ish. I don't know. She's very uptight.
Yeah.
Johnny's kind of an asshole.
Some could say.
Yeah, he starts teasing her because he talks about like when they used to go visit the grave when they were.
He's like, "There's a
kids.
goal." He's like, "Ooh."
Yeah, they're coming to get you, Barbara.
And then they see a guy walking by, and he's like, "He's gonna get you." And she's like, "Stop being a dick. That guy can hear you."
And
she like walks up to him. She's like, "I'm sorry, sir." And then he's a zombie, so he's like, "Bah, bah."
Yeah, so
and then Johnny's like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, he runs up. He struggles with him a little bit. Then the zombie throws him down, and he hits his head on a tombstone and fucking dies. Or assumingly, he dies here.
And then Barbara's like, "I better run."
Yeah, so she runs. She gets into the car, and the zombie breaks the window with a rock. Then it goes down and it hits a tree. Fun fact, that scene wasn't originally planned for the movie, but while they were filming it, the car got T-boned.
So then they had it hit the tree.
So yeah, they inserted that shot into the movie, made it look a little bit more natural. I mean, when you watch the movie, you can tell it's just a already beaten up car kind of scraping up against a tree. But it works. You know, it's a low budget movie from the 60s.
We made it for $6.
They did not. I forget what the budget was, but it was mostly like...
I'll check.
Stuff.
You can keep the talking.
Because I know that the house that they shot in was going to be demolished. I know that they got a lot of the furniture for cheap because it was like... Basically, they were just extremely resourceful. They went and found what they could, and they brought it together.
They just actually killed people for the film to save on, like, practical effects.
Yeah.
The budget was $114,000, which is pretty low.
Yeah. So, Barbara runs away. She finds this house. She goes inside, and for probably like 5 to 7 minutes, she kind of just scopes the place out. Very atmospheric, very moody. Set the tone. You kind of go insane with her. And then she ends up like frantically going outside. And this is where we meet our another character, Ben.
Ben Dwayne, right? Or something like that?
Yeah. And he is the real main character of this movie. Barbara's just kind of the car that we take to get to him.
Yeah.
So he basically saves her from a zombie, kind of boards up the windows and stuff. They sit down and they talk for a little bit about like how they got to this house. She tells the story about her and Johnny. He tells a story where he was at like a diner and a truck was going out of control and it had a bunch of zombies all over it. And yeah,
you can tell why they didn't want to film that.
Yeah.
They're like, let's have the one with the one zombie and they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
We don't have the budget to have a giant truck with zombies all over it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't know if they even if they had the budget for that type of thing. This movie is like subject matter was pretty up from what horror had traditionally been. So a lot of the stuff that they would have shown probably would have been a bit too much for the time period that it was made in. And personally, I don't mind. Like, I like that the movie's kind of grounded in the one setting. I think it really works for this story. But yeah, so basically, she starts getting, like, frantic and out of control. She's like, we gotta go back for Johnny. He's like, he's dead. She's like, no. And he smacks her. And this scene, so Ben is black. And this was pretty progressive for for the time. There weren't a lot of...
a black man slap a woman? Oof.
Yeah.
Never been heard.
That
sounded really racist. Whoops, I did not mean it like that.
What did you say?
I said never been heard of. Like, whoops, did not mean it like that.
Yeah, originally, when they were making this movie, the actor who played Ben wanted to insert a little bit more commentary on the fact that he was black, but he was just... The reason why he was hired for the role is because they thought he was the best person who auditioned, and George was like, no, it'll be more progressive if we don't address it, and we just have you in the movie. And he...
Yeah, George Remero, I get where he's coming from, but that's like the same idea that's like, I don't see color. And I'm like, that's not helpful.
See, I don't quite think of it like that, because
I don't think it's on the same level, but it's on the same like line of reasoning.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I understand why he wouldn't want to do that for his movie. Like, it makes sense. It would... I mean, either way, it kind of makes sense, and you can read it with that subtext, because there is Cooper, who fucking hates Ben's character, and he never, like, explicitly gives a reason. But you can kind of do the math and figure out that it could be because of that. Personally, I think it's because of the way Ben kind of addresses him at first, because basically the dude...
You listen to me! No.
Well, so basically after he hits Barbara, that leads to the next part. He boards up the house, and eventually there are some people who come out of the cellar.
She kind of goes in a shock, too.
Yeah. When she eventually does wake up, which is right around this point. She wakes up, and she's basically just silent and in shock, angry at Ben, who knows. She's kind of off the deep end at this point in the film and won't be coming back. There's like one point where, like, I swear, for like 10 minutes of the movie, she's just sitting there playing with like a doily on the couch. But, yeah, so basically, like, they come up and he tries, like, throwing the excuse, oh, we can't hear very well from down there. And then he lets loose that was bullshit, because he brings up the fact that he heard her screaming and heard a lot of, like, thudding around and thought that there were lots of those things up there. And then Ben basically calls him out and is like, well, get your story straight at least, man. And I think that's the wrong foot they stop off. So if you didn't want to go the route of he's racist, that could be the alternate route you take. Open to interpretation.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both, honestly. Because he kind of is like next level asshole. Like, holy shit. But yeah, basically, he comes up, there's him, his wife, and his daughter, and then there's a younger guy and his girlfriend down there. The daughter was bit, and she's slowly dying downstairs, and they basically come across the argument.
We don't know that she's bit, really, until near the end.
Yeah.
Like, they don't... They're like, oh, she got hurt.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious, like, from nowadays watching it, like, she obviously got bit.
It,
but, like,
it would have
watching
been
it from
a
back
twist
there,
back then.
You're like, oh my god, what happened?
Yeah. But basically, there's the huge dilemma. Do they stay upstairs? Or do they go down?
Should I stay or should I go?
Right. Yeah. So that's like a huge debate between the two of them. Ben thinks that they should stay upstairs. Cooper thinks that they should go down. Which one is right?
The other characters don't care.
Yeah, the other characters are just kind of being tugged along by the two men.
Well, there's another man too.
There's another
also
guy,
being tugged
but he's a
along.
pretty short guy. So
Yeah, and those aren't men. Okay.
yeah, speaking as a short.
Yeah, speaking as the short ween.
We're half a man.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
We have to get on top of each other.
Sad fact,
Mega
after
man.
making fun of that dude's height, that actor, if I remember correctly, committed suicide eventually.
Because he was short?
I don't know if it's because he was short. I mean, maybe. But,
Keith Wayne. Let's check. Go ahead and keep...
yeah. So, yeah, they hear on the radio, there's like a theory that it's radiation, although it's not confirmed. That's like the most solid reasoning we get in these movies, like, because it's a franchise, like there are sequels to this movie that are rooted in the same universe and kind of have like a shifting timeline, but they like each installment takes place like at a different point in the zombie apocalypse. Like this is like obviously the first night it happens. Dawn of the Dead, it's been like going on for like a few weeks. Day of the Dead, it's been going on for a few years, and then Land of the Dead, it's been going on for like quite a few years. Which those are like the
How
canon
long was Day of the Dead again?
Day of the Dead?
Yeah, couple of years, or it'd been going on for how long? Couple of years, or
a couple years. They never like
Day of the
straight
Dead
up
is the only
say.
other Romero film I've seen for
Yeah.
context.
They never straight up say it. You just
But just from
based
like,
on what
context
you
and like
can
the
see.
world.
Yeah,
That's a great movie.
it is. I have a hard time picking a favorite because I love all three of them, but I think that one's probably
Not all four.
I like things from Land of the Dead, and I would generally probably group it with them and say I like it, but it has a lot of problems that really hold it back compared to the
Was
other.
that the one that came out in like 2009?
Came out in 2004, I think. 2004 or 2007. One of those two. But yeah, so if you liked this movie and you want to watch more that are like it, I'd recommend those ones. George A. Romero did also do 2 other movies that are technically part of the series, but they reboot the zombie apocalypse and it's bad. Diary and Survival of the Dead are like their own.
2005, by the way.
Oh, fuck. I was off.
Yeah, you were wrong.
My bad.
Did he direct those? The 2 like weird reboots?
Yes.
Oh, Simon Baker is in Land of the Dead.
Simon Baker. Who is he?
Have you ever seen The Mentalist? It's a long-running show on like
No.
CBS.
Oh, I know who you're talking
That
about.
guy.
Like kind of blondish hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw like trailers for it. I'm like, oh, that's the guy from Land of the Dead. Which is why I'm like, oh, okay.
He's in The Devil's Wears Prada as well.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. But basically, they come to the plan that it's like, all right,
John Leguizamo's in Land of the Dead.
he is.
Sorry, keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
And you know who else is in Land of the Dead? Asia Argento.
Oh!
I should have known that because, like, is that the same year as Mother of Tears?
I think Mother of Tears was 2006. I think it was the year after.
Okay, because I always say that she's always part of the late installment of a series that should have happened years ago and are generally considered like the worst installments of those franchises. Because obviously the last movie before Land of the Dead was Day of the Dead, which was 85, and then fucking Mother of Tears and Inferno. And Inferno was also 85, wasn't it? Or was it earlier? I don't remember. I will let you answer that while I talk a little bit more about this movie. Basically, they make the plan to try to fuel up the truck at a gas pump that's like right outside, or like just kind of right over across the yard. But there's a shit ton of zombies outside. And did you fart?
Oh, big fart, yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if your stomach had like moved or.
I just throw up.
Yeah, I was like, oh. So they go outside. The boyfriend and the girlfriend who are downstairs, and Ben, and they end up. Ben sets down the torch on the ground for a second because he has to shoot the gas pump because the key won't work because it's locked. And when he does that, it starts spewing gas, and the short guy ends up getting gas on the torch and lights the fucking car or the truck on fire and ends up roasting himself and his girlfriend.
Inferno came out in 1980.
Oh, okay. That was like 5 years off.
Yeah.
My bad. My dating today is not on point. But, yeah, so he ends up going back inside, but surprise, surprise, Cooper doesn't want to let him back inside. Fucking asshole.
Yeah. So he has to kick open the door, and he's like, fuck you, dude. Well, they like nail the door shut, and then he fucking beats Cooper's ass. He's like, fuck you.
And then, basically, more debate, and then some zombies start to break in. Cooper takes the gun from Ben and points it at him, but of course he's not very good with it, and Ben just kind of beats the shit out of him, takes the gun back, and shoots him.
Yeah, fuck you.
Which, I get it. I don't know if I would have done the same thing, but I definitely get it.
I probably would. Like, in the heat of the moment, after, like, he almost gets you killed and then tries to kill you, like, well,
twice.
Least, yeah.
He tries to leave him outside and then takes the gun from him.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah. Because he's just become too much of a liability at this point. So, shoots him in the gut. The dad goes downstairs, dies next to his daughter, and then Johnny peeks his little zombie head in, and Barbara gets real fucking excited.
Barbara's like, Johnny, you're alive!
Johnny!
And then he takes her.
Goes outside. Yeah, he takes her, and then in the process of her going out the door, some zombies get in. By the way, while this is going on, the mother goes downstairs, sees that the daughter is eating the husband.
And she's like, whatever her name is, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then the daughter, like, grabs a
little gardening shovel.
Garden hoe or whatever, or a little gardening shovel thing.
Yeah, and
stabs her and kills her.
God, I fucking love this scene. I love a lot of this movie.
I love the last, like, 20 minutes of this film.
Yeah, no, it really just gets crazy. And so Ben goes downstairs because it's the safest place.
He nails it shut, and then he has to kill everyone down there that's zombified.
Yeah, so he has to kill 3 people. And then just sits down, waits. Morning comes, he goes up.
And there are people, throughout the film, there's been little television excerpts of, like, people being like, hey, stay indoors. The only way to kill them is through the brain. Like, they're slowly telling you, like, more progression. And then they are like, we'll have search parties in the morning. And then there's a big search party. And
comes, sees Ben in the window.
Yeah, Ben comes up because he's like, here's people. And he, like, looks out the window. And then he gets shot in the head.
Right between the eyes.
And they're like, okay. And then the movie ends.
Throw him on the fire. And then it does, like, those, like, kind of, like, gritty crime scene-esque photos of, like, all the zombies and creepy music. This movie had a lot of, like, stock music, but the stock music that they had was fucking lit. I love the soundtrack to this movie. And I love, like, a lot of, like, just the ambience and, like, the cinematography, the use of, like, shadows. That's why, like, I prefer this movie in black and white compared to its color version. Because it's just, like, so just fucking great and atmospheric. I love it. I love atmospheric black and white movies. Which is why I fucking love Eraserhead, Pierre, you little boy. I don't know. I was gonna call him a bitch, but I didn't want to be mean.
So then you used a derogatory term towards slaves.
Fuck! God damn it! I didn't even fucking think of that. That's not like a common one that I hear very often.
Yeah, until you say it.
God damn it! Now I feel like a gross piece of shit. You little bitch, Pierre! Making me call you.
So I liked the film. I think a lot of the acting's really bad.
Yeah.
I think Ben, like the guy who plays Ben, is really good.
Yes,
I do think he's really good. But I don't think Barbara's very good.
No, Barbara is the worst.
I don't think Cooper's very good. Like, I think
he's fine. He's a little corny by today's standards. But
the guy who plays... what's the other guy's name?
The short guy?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Shorto. He did unfortunately pass away in 95 after becoming a chiropractor.
Oh, was it not Suicide? Like
It
I thought
was.
it was. Oh, it was. Okay.
I thought he was very bad. It was the only film he was ever in.
Yeah, a lot of these people were.
It's just unfortunate that I don't think, because the film's very dialogue driven, like through the vast majority of the middle part of the film.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard to get through when they're not good at delivering their lines.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm biased.
And I honestly don't think the script's super good. I think some of it's fine, but like, just some of it's not good.
Yeah, George Romero has never been like a technical genius when it comes to film. His films have always been just kind of like, you can tell his filmmaking style is just kind of get lots of takes and just kind of like putting it together post-production and making it work.
Yeah.
Like, you won't find a lot of like fucking great cinematography, like where he's like, oh, I've got this great like shot in my mind. That's like, in this movie, you do a little bit. Like, there are some pretty good shots. Like,
yeah. I don't think there's anything like amazing, but there's some decent, like some good shots.
Yeah, like one of the shots that comes to mind is like the shot with like Barbara when she's like looking through like the little ballerina box thing.
But I could honestly we can just blame the bad writing that's in the film on John Russo. If we want.
There we go. Perfect.
Especially because, they had to rewrite some of it for Return of the Living Dead, right?
They like pretty much took what he wrote and just completely like
gutted it. And
yeah. It was bad, apparently, according to the people.
So let's just say that. But I mean, I did enjoy the film. I think that if I had grown up with it, I would have liked it a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had seen it before Day of the Dead, but like...
This is...
And I do think it's an incredibly influential film, obviously.
Yeah. This was the first zombie movie I think I remember seeing.
Wow. And it's one of the first, like, big zombie films. It's not the first, but... it's not the first zombie film. But.
So, before this film, zombies were associated with, like, voodoo culture.
Yeah.
And this was the first film that flipped it and had it so zombies were eating flesh. Because he really wanted to do... Yeah.
Because like the first zombie film is one called White Zombie, apparently.
Yeah, with Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
And it's a voodoo zombie movie.
Yeah.
They're like good? Dead. It's enjoyable. It's definitely a product of its time. Not the best movie. But
probably racist.
It has its moments. But there's a really annoying bird in it that squawks a lot.
Nice.
And it's, 30s sound quality, so it's bad. But, oh God, where was I? In the midst of talking about this movie.
It was the first zombie movie with flesh.
Because George Remero really wanted to like do something that was a lot like I Am Legend, but he didn't want to do vampires. So he's like, how can I kind of slightly twist vampires? Instead of sucking blood, they eat flesh. Got it. All right. And yeah, and suddenly the zombie history was changed, and we got modern zombies.
That I Am Legend was like a book from that long ago.
Yeah, Richard Matheson, I think.
Is all I always just remember Will Smith. So then, I know it's a book, but because like it's more of a contemporary film, I'm like, oh yeah, it probably came out like 10 years before that, not like 50 years.
Yeah, there's a Vincent Price adaptation called The Last Man on Earth that adapts that story, which is also a public domain movie.
Apparently there's another one called The Omega
Man. Yeah.
Have you seen either of those?
I've seen bits of The Last Man on Earth. I haven't seen any of Omega Man, but Omega Man has Charlton Heston in it, doesn't it? Yeah. I know a lot about it because I just watched
the Omega
countless zombie documentaries growing up, so George Romero always talked about those.
He doesn't exist.
Yeah, he's dead now.
Yeah, 2 years ago, right? Something like that. 2017.
It was a couple of years ago.
Was Survival of the Dead the last movie he made?
I think so.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but...
It was better than Diary of the Dead, I'll give it that.
Okay.
And it has the actor who plays Roderick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid in it.
I mean, that's
something.
I don't know if I would say that's a plus, but that's something.
I like that actor. No, he's okay.
Has he been in anything recently? What's he up to?
There's this movie he does. It's bad. It's got Christopher Lloyd in it. It's called I think it's called Dead Before Dawn. And it's like Night of the Demons type logic where like if they touch you, you turn into you get possessed by a demon and it spreads throughout the town.
Poo-poo kind of thing.
I have that one on DVD somewhere because I bought it
You're like, this is gonna be epic as Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah.
Woo!
And I liked those kind of movies. I was in middle school or early
Dead
high school.
Before Dawn, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a funny haha comedy. It's like ho.
Yes.
You were in high school when that came out.
Yeah, I said I was either in middle school or early high school. So what did it come out, 2013?
Oh yeah, he's an Okja. I forgot.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Okja yet, so
Well, maybe you should get on that.
there might be a little bit of incentive right there.
He's not like a big character in it, but he's in it for a sec.
Yeah, kind of same with Survival. He's like a minor character.
It's like a bit part. He's like,
I'm a zombie. Whoa! And he starts doing a little lightning.
No, he has lines and stuff. It's just he's not a main character. At least from what I remember. I watched it once because I didn't really care for it. But yeah, fun fact about this movie: it had a different title originally. It was going to be called.
Zombies!
No, they don't even call.
Who's knocking at the door? That'd be good.
Who's knocking at the door?
Yeah.
It was originally going to be called Night of Anubis, which is the Egyptian god of death.
yes, I know who Anubis is.
Maybe the audience didn't.
He's the dog.
Yeah. But they changed that because it was the 1960s and here in America, so they were like, who the fuck is Anubis? And George Romero was like, all right,
you stupid dum-dums. Let's just call it fucking Night of the Doogles.
So then they changed it to Night of the Flesh Eaters. And
That's also worse.
Yeah. And the way that copyright worked back in the 60s is you had to have the copyright in the film somewhere. And I think most films had it at the end credits. But they decided to put it on the title. And when they changed it to Night of the Living Dead to make it more marketable, they forgot to put the copyright back on.
Oh, so it's been free.
It's always been public domain as long as it's been released.
Well, it's not like they made enough money on the theatrical run.
I think so.
They made $30 million.
Did they? Okay.
They made 296 times the budget.
Yeah, because I know that's fair. But this movie made way more money after. But that also might be in part due to the fact that it was public domain.
Yeah, but I mean, they were fine after. He did Dawn of the Dead, 10 years later?
Yeah.
And
he did movies before he did Dawn of the Dead, in between. I'm pretty sure Crazies might have been the year after Dawn of the Dead, but he did stuff in the 70s, Season of the Witch, The Crazies.
Let's be the season of the witch!
That Night movie that I can't remember the name of.
Night Riders, I think.
Yeah.
I really want to see that. It looks fun.
Yeah. I really need to go back. He did Martin as well, which is
Night Riders was
really
after Dawn.
Okay, so that was
What the fuck did... I think Martin and Dawn of the Dead came out the same year.
1978?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
That's kind of epic.
I really want to see Martin. I haven't looked for anything online about it. I know that the UK announced that they were getting 4K releases for Martin and Dawn of the Dead, which I wish that we could get 4K for that over here, but the dude who owns the rights for those over here, or at least Dawn of the Dead, I don't know if he owns Martin, he might, but he like blew his money doing a 3D conversion for a 3D Blu-ray of Dawn of the Dead, and he like refuses to like sell the rights for anything less than what he spent getting the conversion. So Dawn of the Dead just hasn't had an official release over here since like 2010 or something like that. So,
You know what?
fuck you, asshole.
You know what?
We're
he
gonna
made?
pry the rights out of your cold dead hands when you're dead in 5 years.
You know what he made before Dawn of the Dead?
What?
A 45-minute O.J. Simpson documentary.
Oh, nice. Hindsight's 2020.
He's not seen anything anymore.
That's true. To be fair,
Rest in peace.
he wouldn't have seen much when he was alive because he had those giant fucking glasses.
Yeah, we're cool.
They were cool. They were
He looked epic.
Yeah.
I unfortunately think that I like the story and the influence and the film. I like everything surrounding this film more than I like the film.
I get it.
Which is
I
fine.
disagree, but
Yeah.
I get it. I understand. It's an older, low-budget film from the 60s, like I said. Corny acting. Very, very
I think
amateurish.
that-
But I feel
I
like...
think that if I liked the script or the acting more, it would have been fine. But because they both were like poorly done, to me at least,
Yeah.
like I could have forgiven one of them, but having both of them is like, ah.
And that's something that all of them follow. Like, Dawn of the Dead has similar kind of things going on. Like, not all the acting, and that is great.
But I think Day of the Dead's pretty good acting for the most part.
Day of the Dead...
And I think the script's pretty good in that one.
Yes, I agree.
Also, it's pretty funny.
I have my gripes with all of them. Like with Day of the Dead. Minor spoilers for Day of the Dead, but the bad guy in that is kind of like cartoonishly over the top. Joe Pilato. Rest in peace. He just died like this year.
Sad.
This year or last year, I don't remember. Time flies. You let me know that Yondu was supposed to come out a year ago, and I had no idea. And I was like, oh shit. But yeah, like
I do love zombie films though. Like I like the genre of zombie films. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bad ones, but I don't care that like there's an overabundance because I can just not watch one if I don't want to.
exactly.
I've never cared that like I don't care that a lot of superhero movies are coming out, or like if westerns were really big again, I wouldn't care that a lot were coming out. I've never cared about an overabundance of things. I'm just like, I just won't see it if I don't want to.
The only reason why I kind of have like a sour association with like overabundance, and it's not necessarily like an absolute every time, but when they focus on, because if there's an overabundance of something, that means that something sells,
Yeah.
which will limit anything that doesn't kind of fall into that. Or
No, and I can agree with that, but because
A lot of what I watch is like either like big budget things that I know are going to do well, or like indie stuff that like doesn't necessarily need to do super hot because it's like made on like a no budget and like it'll find its niche like no matter what kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't like I watch a lot of things that aren't really affected by that, I guess.
yeah, the only thing that kills me about like the indie movies not doing too well, because usually I'm not like, oh no, there's not going to be a sequel to this movie, because I think most independent movies work better as like standalone films anyway.
Yeah.
With some like exceptions, and even
Like Creep 2.
yes. The only reason why I'm like, oh, that didn't do well is like if the director I like, I'm like, I want to see more from this director, and they can't get their work made. Like
I was gonna say
Charlie
something
Kaufman
about I was
has
gonna say something about Booksmart as well. Because I thought Booksmart was fantastic. But I'm
Still
like,
have to
also Olivia Wilde, a millionaire. Never mind. like it's like an indie film and it's good. I really enjoyed it, and but
That's
she's fine.
yeah. That's the thing.
She wasn't depending on this for her livelihood.
There are a lot of movies that seem like indie movies, because they're
Yeah.
what would traditionally be indie movies, but they're made by big budget studios.
Yeah.
Or at least released through them. Like a lot of like A24s, it's like, oh, the indie cinema. And it's like, oh, wait, a lot of this actually has budget.
Yeah.
Is not independent.
Yeah.
But,
So what'd you give the film?
this film is a 7.
7. And I'm going to give this one a 6.
There we go. 6.5.
6.5. Also, I want to talk to you about one thing real quick that I keep forgetting to mention.
Okay.
It's about Pierre. He forgets your name a lot. And he always thinks your name is Eaton.
Eaton?
Eaton.
Like I'm Eaton?
Yeah. And I keep forgetting that, but I wanted to tell you because I think it's very funny.
How do you... Thomas is the most, like, fucking
He's
vanilla...
like London
name.
and Eaton.
Like, Thomas is probably, like, what? The fucking 4th most common white guy name? Like, any Tom, Dick, and Stanley? Like...
What's funny is those aren't like common names at all anymore.
Yeah, anymore. I was reaching for an older terminology, but,
Any
goddamn, Thomas...
John and Rom.
I remember your name, Pierre,
It's because we talk about him every podcast.
and he listens to every podcast.
Yeah. But it's not like I go, hey, Tom. Actually, I do say your name. But every time he's like, as soon as I turn off the podcast, I just totally forget his name. I'm just like, Eaton?
It's
So
not...
can that be like your cool new name? Like, can we get shirts made that's like Team London and Team Eaton?
I would, but that sounds way too close to Ethan, and I don't like that. So,
Eaton.
no.
What if we like exaggerate? Eaton.
Like an E-10?
Yeah.
No.
Like E10 and up.
Whoa!
I can still feel it all.
Oh, God. Went from 11
Like
to
the
21
song.
there real fast. Okay. The Lost City of Zed.
The Lost City of Zed or Z? Zed if you're from Europe.
Yes.
This is by James Gray, who most notably recently did Ad Astra, which is still in theaters, most places probably, and I thought was phenomenal, so that's why I chose this movie. Which, spoiler alert, I also think is phenomenal.
Yeah. I'd agree.
So this tells like a true story?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much of it is true. Obviously, the ending, we have no idea.
Is not true.
It might be.
Well, they don't know how he... spoiler alert.
Well, yeah, but he could have guessed, and he could have gotten it right. There's a chance
he
that
could
it is
have gotten
true.
it right. Because I was like sitting there, and I was like watching this. I'm like, out of all the ways to go, this doesn't seem like too bad of a way. Like they like.
I think it's like the nicest, like hopeful way. Like it's probably.
I mean, it sucks that it looks like they kind of dropped him into that like dark river, but because.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, they drowned, and drowning sucks. But, like, they get the nice, like, look at the lights, and they gotta say, like, I love you. And,
Fuck. Okay, let's talk about this film.
Yeah.
So this film's 2.5 hours. It's a beefy one.
yeah.
And it has some slow moment, but fuck, I love this movie. So it tells the story of
It
this.
seemed mostly accurate, by the way. I looked up, I didn't, like, do a deep read, but I did, like, a light, like, skimming of the Wikipedia page, and it seemed
It's
pretty close.
So it tells the true story of this guy named... What the fuck was his name?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne, yeah.
It's not Lawrence Fishburne.
Percy Fawcett.
Percy Fawcett, that's what
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Because his name's Fawcett, and I always think that's a funny name, because I'm like, haha, like a sink.
Yes.
And I go, that's silly.
I think when he's peeing, he's probably like, draining the
draining
faucet's faucet.
I can still feel it. Your hat fell off.
It did.
So it tells this true story of this guy named Percy Fawcett. He's in the military?
He was an he did a bunch of different stuff. He was an archaeologist. He was, I forget the name of the specific term, but someone who like charts maps.
A cartographer.
Cartographer,
Yes.
that's what it was.
I love that name, so I remember it.
I was going to say chartographer,
A chartographer.
but that's not right.
So it tells the story of, here's how it goes. He wants to get these like medals. He wants recognition. He's like a young man. He wants to be known to the world. So he signs up for this, like, he tries to like reach out and like do something, and he gets this mission to go to
The Amazon.
Bolivia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like a feud going on with the land in between Bolivia and Brazil.
Yeah.
Because basically there's this neutral land that they're not quite sure who it belongs to, but it's got a lot of money coming out of it. Got a lot of resources in there, specifically rubber.
Yeah.
And basically...
So they need a third party to like chart it out and like map it correctly so they know who has what kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he does it. He decides to do it. He writes a letter. He like puts out a thing to like get somebody else. He has to leave his wife, who's very sad because he's like, you think, oh, this is just a little one and done mission, but he's like, yep, I'll be gone for like 2.5 years.
Yeah. At the least.
Yeah.
If I ever come back.
Yeah, and it's a dangerous place. They're in between two warring countries. Like,
Yes.
it's like, oh! But he puts out a missive, like a mission statement being like, hey, does anyone want to join me kind of thing? He has to leave his wife and his son, who's like 2 or like 3. Like, he's very young. She's like, he won't remember you when you come back. And like, she's pregnant with another boy. He's like, I have to go. I have to go.
My name means more to me than my children and my family. Which
turned into like a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Every place in Europe
Which,
speaks accent.
if you want to live an ambitious life like that, don't fucking settle with a family before you do so.
I don't think they were trying to have kids. I think they just kept popping them out.
I guess back then, under like the hood of the church, I guess you couldn't. It's not like today where it's like, we don't want this kid. We can easily
Just go.
Plan B or abortion or all the different stuff you can do to
Plan
kill a kid.
B as in boot the baby out.
Yeah, Plan B as in bash the baby as soon as it comes out and pretend like it never happened.
Jesus Christ. So he goes on like a boat.
Yeah.
And he finds somebody like, it's been like a week. Like, he's on the boat for like a week. And he sees somebody like, kind of like sneaking up behind him. And he like hides. And he like tries to attack the dude. And it's Robert Pattinson.
Yep.
With a big beard.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, I'm here to join you.
And
he has like a thick British accent. And it's like unlike any character I've seen Robert Pattinson play before.
I think that this was probably...
He's my favorite character in the film.
Yeah.
He was fan. I
like
loved
in
him.
terms of like performance, I felt like he was the one that like really was like sold me the most.
I think that the main character does have a good performance, but a lot of it is like kind of melancholy and like reserved, and like a lot of expression is like more done with Robert Pattinson character.
And jumping ahead a bit here, while I don't think he did like a bad job, I didn't really like. I'm just too familiar with Tom Holland.
Oh, I really like Tom Holland.
Like I think he did a good job, but I was watching. I'm like, this is just Tom Holland.
See, I'm pretty good at like separating and being like, this is I can get into a character.
Bad at it. So
okay. This film takes place over like
20 years.
20 years,
because it starts circa 1905 and he goes missing in 1925.
Yeah. And Tom Holland plays his son later in life.
Yep.
So they join up together, and then they go to this small village.
Yep. Where they meet up with...
It's like a mining village. It's where a bunch of the like rubber comes from, and that's where like there's this guy. He's like the chief there, or the town leader. I can't remember what they call him.
Well, they meet up with another guy.
Oh yeah, there's another guy who's from the like British force, like.
Yeah.
And he's like, they told you to turn back, it's too dangerous. And he's like, you write them a letter back. Then I shall do no such thing, and we shall carry on. And he's like, okay, I guess I'm stuck with you. And this guy's name is like Henry, I think?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I really liked his character as well.
Yeah.
He wasn't like super prevalent a lot of the time, but I did like the scenes he was in. He was pretty cool.
Yeah. So basically, after that, they go and they talk to the like chief guy who's like in charge, and basically they had like a native guide, but they ended up like the native guide ended up. They didn't really explain it.
I think it was just. I think it was more like the leader at the town wanted to meet with them and like talk to him before handing him over. But they have a guide who like they refer to as a savage. Like that's a big thing in the film is they refer to all the natives that like live in tribes and stuff as savages.
This film very much has like kind of focuses on that transition between like the ethics of the like 19th and 20th century.
Yeah.
Because you've got a lot of like progressive people who are like, well, we should go into this a little bit.
I don't know. It's not, most of them are not progressive.
Most of them are not. It's
just
the main character.
It's the main character. And I feel that's like what this film's like about is like this character realizing, wait a minute, maybe white people didn't invent everything.
Yeah. Which that is kind of one of my minor gripes about the film is that sometimes it felt like a little too modern. Like they literally have that one line where it's like, well, did you know that like childbirth is way more painful? And it's like, that sounds like something I heard like yesterday. Like that's still a relevant topic today. I wonder if that was like actually something that someone like said back then.
Unfortunately, like from like transcripts I've read from like books and certain things in history, it's like we're having the same conversation sometimes. Like, so I could definitely see that being a thing still.
Yeah,
like from back.
It just felt very verbatim to like what I see on like Tumblr threads today, and I'm like, not like I don't think it's a bad thing. It just kind of took me out for a second because I'm like, whoa, shit, that was very modern.
Henry was Robert Pattinson's character, by the way. Henry Costin, and then the other guy that they join that they meet up with is named Arthur. Arthur.
I want to read the book for this because it's a non-fiction book, and I want to like have just like the facts in detail.
So this trio meets up with this. They refer to him as a savage. He's just a regular tribesman that like knows the area.
Yeah,
there's like this American that like works for them. That's like, yeah, we taught him English.
Yeah.
And they're like, does he speak English? He's like, he understands, and he does. But he doesn't ever speak it. But
oh yeah, I guess he doesn't.
He just points and he speaks in Spanish.
Yeah, there's that one scene where he was talking to the main character, but I forgot that was in Spanish.
So they take him and 4 other tribesmen, natives, and they all take this big raft. And the way they're charting this map is by following the river and charting where the river goes. And he shows him the book. He's like, do you know how long the river is? And he just like keeps moving his hand across the page. Like, and in Spanish, he's like, it's very, very long. And we'll be on the river for a long time. And they say, it's like, for the next 2 years, we're on this river. And then it just slowly cuts between scenes of them on the river. Yeah. Like, literally, like, the first day they're on the river, they get attacked by natives. And, like, 2 people die?
Yeah. A couple people die. Or is it just the one guy who dies? I think it's just the one guy.
One guy dies immediately.
Yeah. And then it's slowly just cutting. They're slowly losing food.
Yeah.
They can't find any rations or anything. And like somebody dies of starvation, they throw them in the water.
Yeah.
And people are like, fucking die.
Yeah, and it gets to the point where they like reach this location.
They reach like kind of like the end of the river pretty much. And they're like, guys, no man. And Charlie Hunnam, the main character, is like convinced that no man has been here before. For whatever reason, they're convinced. They're like, no person has ever been here. And then they find a pig and they shoot him.
Yeah, and then they're
like, we have food. And then Charlie Hunnam finds pottery.
Yeah, finds
like on the ground.
Like,
and he's like,
civilization.
What? He like finds and he's like, we were wrong. And he's like, no white man has been here before. And it's a pretty good scene. I really like it.
Yeah. So
and then it cuts back to them being like back at home.
Yeah. His wife found a document describing someone who was in the Amazon, gave a description of a city, but he didn't give the exact location.
Yeah.
So he puts two and two together and he's like, this is the place. This is the place that I was just at.
So they have this big meeting at the Royal... What is the RGA or something?
Part of
the
some
Royal
organization.
Geography something?
Yeah, that like funds...
The Royal Geographical Society, the RGS.
Yeah.
So they go back and he's like, fuck cartography.
Well, before that, because there's the big like press one and there's the small one where they're just like at the table. By the way, I can't remember the actor's name, but fucking Darth Sidious.
Yeah, Ian McDermott.
I knew that was it. I had that in my head.
Ian McDermott is this guy, Sir George. He's the leader of the RGS, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's like a big fan of the main character. They're like buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's great in this movie.
Yeah, no, he does a good job. He's not in it very much.
I didn't recognize him right at the beginning.
I did. The second I saw those doughy eyes.
That's Ian McDermott.
He had a mustache. That was nice.
Yeah. It was like, I want to ride that face. I don't want to. He's white.
Oh.
Sorry. No whiteys allowed on this booty hole.
Sorry, Weird Al.
Ooh, maybe Weird Al. Weird Al?
You would make an exception for Weird Al, but not a Star Wars actor?
I mean, have you seen Weird Al's Star Wars episode 1, Saga continue?
Fair enough.
Saga Begins or whatever. He should be in Star Wars. He should be Jabba the Hutt.
Next time they go into like a bar or a cantina, they should have
it should be him
up there playing
like
as
a one-man band. He has like 5 arms. That'd be great. It's just him in like a regular costume. He's usually like in a Aloha shirt or something, but he has like 6 arms. Like,
that would be great. I would love that.
Oh, Ryan Johnson, if you're
make it happen.
Trilogy, let's do it. Let's have him be the main character, and he's about the band.
I'm curious about Knives Out. I've heard that they're like doing stuff to like keep spoilers subsided.
Ooh. I'm so excited for Knives Out.
Yeah, so that's one I'm gonna have to see before I get it fucking spoiled for me.
Yeah, I'll probably see that opening night. Back to the movie.
Yes.
So they go to this big like press conference thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he's like at the front. He's like, cartography, I don't think that's the solution anymore. I think we need to look at archaeological things. And he's pretty much saying, I think that there is a lost city. And they're like, El Dorado.
Yeah, this place just... God,
well, have you ever seen like parliament meetings like in films from like Britain or anything? Yeah. That's how they act. They're like screaming, like, fuck you.
It's terrible. And scenes like this piss me off.
But he's like trying to argue with him. And he's like, we have to go back and we have to find this. And he's like, they are not savages. They are. And they're like, do you think they are our equals? And he's still, he still has his own prejudices, obviously. He doesn't just automatically, but he's like, I don't know.
They're not as like advanced technologically as we are, but I mean, in terms of civilization, I mean, they're a civilization. I'm sure they have religion.
I mean, but even in the same way, they're like, in a lot of ways, they're more technologically advanced in some ways. Like, later on, they're like, they irrigated this entire place when we didn't think that was even possible.
Yeah.
There's
that, and they have, like, a better, like, mentality when it comes to, like, treating nature. Like, there's the scene where they, like, see how they catch fish, and they just, like, use, like, a stun powder instead of just killing a bunch of fish, and it's like they don't kill what they don't have to.
Yeah. And it's also, like, better for the water, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm just...
But there's this guy in the like seats who's like, I will go with you, because earlier they had a little meeting that was just like the RGS without this giant meeting, and he was there.
And he's a dude who has like status.
What was his name? Like Murray, I think.
Yeah,
Jack Murray.
Yeah, something like that. And,
James Murray.
James Murray. And
he's like with the RGS, and he's like a senior member, and he's like, oh, this is.
It's always been my dream to go to the Amazon.
And he wants the glory as well. But he's like, just for the glory, and he doesn't care. He's referring to them as savages, and like Charlie Hunnam, like right after was like, yes, the natives. Like he tries to correct them.
Yeah, you know that,
and that's the big turning point I thought I saw in the character, like because he had referred to them as savages on this whole like raft trip, and then as soon as he gets back, he's like, I was wrong, and he starts referring to them as like natives.
Because he spent like 2 years.
2 years with that guy and like a few others, you know.
And the Murray guy, he's basically just like the Chamber of Secrets like teacher from Harry Potter.
Yeah, he literally.
Yeah, like minus the
fact,
an
asshole.
Yeah, it just
like
takes people's credit. I mean, they don't. In terms of like the real guy, I don't know, but in terms of how they portray him in this movie, I'm sure probably like I don't. It's not something I entirely doubt, but I have to have that shred of doubt just in case.
Yeah.
But it's just a grain of doubt.
But he decides to go with them, so they go back. Henry Costin is in as well, like Robert Pattinson's.
The original team minus... Did the second voyage take place before or after World War One? I think it's before. Because, World War One happens in between the next
because after is when it gets hurt.
Yeah.
So they go back. Obviously, his wife's sad again. He has a new son. His son's growing up.
Mm-hmm.
He's very sad.
Yes.
Yeah. Sad. They're like, you have to go again, Father. He's like, yes. I have to do it for glory. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So they go back. And they like start talking to people. And they're going down this river. And then they immediately, like, they get attacked again. And fucking James Murray immediately pulls out his gun. He's like, savages, attack! And he's like, stop! Everybody get out of the boat. And they get to the other side of the river. And I love this scene.
Yeah, this is a good scene.
He fucking... So in the meantime, between these two voyages, fucking Charlie Hunnam's character, Percy, he learns Spanish. And he has a book in his hand, and he's like waving a little flag, and he's walking across the river as people are like throwing spears at him.
Amigo!
And he's just like, amigo! And they're like slowly stopping, but some of them are still throwing spears, and he's like undeterred. He's like walking, he's like, amigo! And the one spear literally hits the book and like stops right in front of his face, and he's like,
yeah, that part was a little for me.
I don't know. I thought
I like that scene overall, but that one specific bit where the arrow just gets stopped through the book is like, kind of took me out of it a little bit. But
maybe that actually happened.
Maybe I don't think so, but maybe.
Better read the book.
I will. I want to.
So they let him in, and people are like, oh, he's fucking dead. James Murray's like, if they attack, you rally to me, man. And they're like, no.
They, like, don't respect him at all, which I love.
Yeah.
They're like, we're listening to Percy, not you fucking bozo.
Yeah.
And even before this, they were already complaining about him. They were like, oh my god, he's taking so long. He's like, I gotta let go of all this dead weight. And they're like, no, we need that stuff. Just wait until we get to the river, and then you don't have to do anything. You just be in the raft. And he's like, oh, it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know what they were expecting from this guy. This dude is pretty plump. He's, like, older. And they decided to take him to the Amazon. Now, granted,
he was like supposed to be an explorer too, and I know people that are like plumper or like bigger guys that can go, like they still have a lot of endurance.
Well, this was not one.
Yeah,
And he complains the whole time. It's the worst. So they let them into the village.
Minus some of the shittier stuff he did, like, later on, this would have been me if I was in the Amazon. I mean, I wouldn't have gone as far as to, like, sabotage their food and be a dick when they're like, all right, dude, you're weighing us down. I'd be like, no, I totally get it. I bit off more than I can chew. Send me on a horse and I'll go back or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone as far as he did, but goddamn, his character pissed me off. Especially the scene on the boat.
Well, he was the only real antagonist of the film, really.
Yeah, like, honestly, yeah.
Like, he was the antagonist, and facing the own prejudices that you have inside of you.
Yeah.
That was the other antagonist. So they go into this village, and they're trying to be respectful, and fucking, they see a dead human body, like, on a fire. Like, on a fire spit. And James Murray's freaking out. He's like, oh, they're cannibals. And Percy's like, yes, I know. Stop freaking out. They explain it to me, and they're like, it's a very important part of their culture that when they eat the flesh of their fallen tribesmen, the spirit goes into them so that it never leaves the tribe. And he's like, I can't do this. And he, like, wanders off. And he's like, come on, men. And he tries to get the men to go with him. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
But they meet with the tribesmen. Charlie Hunnam's character, Percy, he brought, like, a gift for the chief and his son. The chief, like, they feed them fish. Like, it's a really beautiful scene of, like, these two cultures, like, trying to learn from each other.
Yeah, it's nice. It's what it should be like.
And they ask them about, like, this lost city, and they don't know anything, but they say, hey, down the river there's another tribe that may know something. So they're like, okay, let's get going. And then they can't find James Murray. And they find him fucking, like, in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the jungle,
big old
with, like,
gash
an
in his leg.
infected leg, and he had eaten, like, all of...
Do they ever say what happened to his leg?
I think he just fucking, like, tripped on something. I think it's, like, literally just supposed to be like, how the fuck did you do this?
Yeah.
Like, how did you mess up this bad?
And he's got, like, stolen food that he stole that...
He, like, has a
Percy's
fever.
family.
He stole Percy's, like, birthday food or something. Like, it was a special
something
gift
that
from
his wife had made for all of them to share. And he's like, my wife made all of this for us to share.
And he's like, oh,
I know.
I guess you would have wished that I had starved myself. That would have been the honorable thing. He's just an asshole about it instead of just being like, I'm so sorry. Or not eating the food.
Yeah.
And then they start going down the river again, and they're like, James, you need to stay there. They're trying to keep the balance.
Yeah,
there's like
down.
Like whitewater rapids and stuff going on, and he like won't sit down. He's like scratching the like infected leg.
I laughed so hard because he's just comedically just like like aggressively scratching out his leg,
his
and
face
not
is freaking out. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, what are you doing?
just sit fucking still. And of course,
And then rations start falling out of the boat. He falls off the boat.
and then he starts grabbing on.
So does,
the boat.
like, Robert Pattinson's character also does, and he's like, swim to shore. And Robert Pattinson's like, okay, I'll go do that. And then James falls out of the boat, and then he's, like, grabbing onto the boat.
You're gonna tip the
And
boat,
he's,
you
like,
fucking
picking
idiot!
for rations, and Charlie Hunnam literally goes up and, like, punches his hand, like, pushes him off. He's like, stop! And he's like, I'm drowning! And he's like, no, you're not! Because the water isn't even very deep either.
Yeah.
It's, like... Probably like
chest.
yeah, like probably like 4 foot to like maybe like 8 foot, but even then, like you can still just walk at the bottom to the end.
Yeah.
And like Henry Costin, Robert Pattinson has to go up and like save him, and he's like freaking out, and they lost like half of their rations. So like they didn't have enough to really make it, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck are we doing?" And Charlie Hunnam like, "We're not going to turn back."
Yeah, he's a little too determined. At this point, I would have been like, "All right."
So they set up camp for the night, and they decide they're like, "We cannot have James do this anymore. We have to send him back."
That means he's got blood poisoning. They're
think
fairly certain
so.
He's going to die.
But they're like, we have to at least, and Robert Pattinson and the other guy, Arthur, they're just like, let's just fucking leave him. Like, I would have, honestly, I might have killed him. Like, we're in the middle of jungle.
Typically, I like to think that I wouldn't kill people.
This guy's such a fucking asshole.
This guy was like over the top fucking just like, it's like the exact same situation as like in Night of the Living Dead with fucking Cooper. It's like, God damn it, dude. You were just fucking asking for it. Stop. I'm trying to give you so many chances. God damn it, you stabbed me in the back again. That's it. I'm just fucking shooting you.
But, so they're like, here, you can have our last horse, and they give him way more rations than he should have. They're like, you need to get to the nearest village and go home. We can't have you anymore. You've, like, destroyed the mission. We're gonna try to keep going as far as we can. And he's, like, being super butthurt about it. Like, oh, but then they go to bed thinking that he's leaving. Yeah. And then they wake up in the morning, and he had poured oil on all of their rations.
Yep.
So they have no more food. And they have to abandon the mission.
They also don't even have a fucking horse anymore.
Yeah, so then they have to just literally walk back.
Yeah. So, they get back. And, guess who? Guess who's alive?
Yeah, James is, like, they go back to the RGS, unfortunately with no good news, because they couldn't go as far as
they had typed up, like, a letter saying, like, explaining the situation and saying that, like, Murray was probably dead.
Yeah, and then they walk in, and Murray's there, and then he immediately says that they abandoned him.
Yeah, and
he's like, what the fuck, dude? You poured oil? And he's like, they're lying. I won't be treated like this. And Charlie Hunnam, Percy's like, I just want this to be over. I just want this to, like, me to be able to do my thing. So he's like, I'll apologize if you want, but I need to hear your conditions. Because he's like, I won't sue him. He's, like, threatening to sue, like, the RGS, like, in general for this, like, mistreatment. And they don't want that. So they're like, can you please apologize? And he's like, I need to hear his conditions. And he's like, your wife was there when she, like, when you went on this quest, so she needs to be there when you apologize.
Yeah, just trying to, like, fucking question his manlyhood.
And he's like, I will apologize. He's like, thank you. And then he goes, to my men. Yeah. And he turns to Robert Pattinson and Arthur, and he's like, I'm so sorry I let this absolute fucking idiot come with us. Like, that's pretty much what he says.
He said, I can't remember it verbatim, but it was savage.
It's a sick burn.
It was something like, I'm sorry that I thought, like, that, you know, this dude was even, like, worthy of your guys' presence.
Yeah, he's like, because he's super good to these guys. Like, they're a team. Like,
yeah, they're very loyal. And
yeah, and they've been, like, they've been together for, like, 4 or 5 years now. Like, it's a pretty solid friendship. Like, there's a lot of little scenes just between them that are throughout the movie that, like, don't have to do with, like, the central plot, but add so much to their characters, like, together.
Yeah.
And then he turns to Ian McDiarmid and he's like, and if you had anything to do with this, I'm fucking pissed. So he, like, leaves. He's like, I'm leaving the RGS. I'm resigning. I'm going off on my own. Yep. So he decides to do that. And he, like, starts planning to go out to do it again, but then World War I starts. Yep. And they had found out...
yeah, they had already heard about Franz Ferdinand being shot.
He had heard when they were coming back, because they had to write the note that they thought James was dead. And then he came back.
We forgot to mention this. The movie opens with him, like, doing he's at some sort of event that Franz is going to be at. But they don't show Franz in the movie.
Yeah, he was dead, so that's probably why.
Well, he was alive at that point in
Yeah,
1905.
but Franz Ferdinand.
Later, once they got...
I'm saying that he's dead right now, so they're going to get him to portray himself. So.
Well, they didn't have an actor portray him either, so...
Yeah. But Percy was played by himself.
Yeah, so...
They found him.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we found you!
And you haven't aged.
Great. Perfect.
Do you want to be in King Arthur? No. Gotta be in Pacific Rim?
He's like, well, I never actually found the city of Zed, so why not? I gotta get my name out there somehow.
Imagine he did.
Well, maybe. Spoiler, they don't, like, find the exact city that he was talking about. Like, I don't think it was made out of gold.
They have found, like...
But in the general area, there was a lot of different, like...
they find, like, kind of little ruins and, like, lots
civilizations.
Yeah. And they found, like, where he thought it was, like,
yes.
on the map. Poor man.
And they still don't know what
This
happened.
movie's pretty sad.
Yeah.
This movie's very sad when you think about it. So they get drafted into World War I, and him, Arthur, and Henry all get drafted. And there's a pretty brutal scene. This is like Tom Holland is in the movie now.
Yeah.
He's like young. He's supposed to be like probably like 14 in this scene.
Yeah, somewhere around.
And he's like, "What the fuck, Dad?" He like pretty much tries to like
because his dad's like, I gotta go
he's
back.
like, all you do is for your own name. You don't care about this family. And person fucking slaps him in the face.
Yeah. And
the mom's like, I wish you would know that everything he does is for this family, which I don't agree with, but like I would say that Percy is a good man, but maybe not a good father. At least now.
Yeah.
I think he does. He
comes around.
Yeah.
He eventually kind of learns.
But he gets drafted to the war, and it's sad because like his son like hates him at this point.
Yeah.
And so they're in the war. He's a pretty like he's like a general or something. They're like because he's had like leadership experience or something. They make him like a general, and they always give the general like a pistol instead of like a fucking gun.
Yeah.
Here, I have a pistol. And it's like slowly putting it through like the war. But eventually he meets up with Henry and Arthur, who had like joined his stuff.
Yeah, they transferred over.
They transferred over so they could all be together again. And they're like having drinks and it's such like, there's so many like great wholesome scenes in between like tragedy.
Yeah.
But then like there's a big like a battle that happens. They're in the trenches and they like go out and then suddenly there's a gas attack and like
the one dude,
Henry puts on his mask correctly and like Charlie Hunnam's like trying to get it out, but then Arthur like runs in because he like didn't hear somebody screaming gas, and he's like trying to shoot people, and Charlie Hunnam's like, Arthur, gas! And Arthur turns around, and as soon as he turns around, he's shot through the head. And then Charlie Hunnam's like in a rage because one of his best friends just died, so he like gets up instead of putting on his gas mask because he's like in a fit of rage, and he starts like shooting, and then like the gas overpowers him and he falls over
and he temporarily loses his sight and wakes up.
I thought he was just gonna be blind. Like I thought like this was gonna be like, I thought what the film was gonna like do and the story was gonna do is like his son went on to do it for him because he couldn't anymore. But he like becomes blind for a bit. He wakes up in the hospital. Henry was okay. You find out that Robert Pattinson's character is fine.
Yeah.
And his son, he had a daughter.
Yeah.
Also, he has a daughter and a son that are there. He's like he touches their face to find out, and then his son's there, and he's like feels awful because the last time he talked to his dad, he said like he hated him. And he's like, I love you, Dad.
Yeah.
That's good. And then it's like the next few years are just him like trying to get better and like him thinking that the doctor says, I don't think you'll ever return to your jungle. And he's like crying because like that's his life work. And he's like trying to prove to people that these natives are people too.
Yeah.
That are technologically advanced in their own ways and like have done so many things.
So some years pass.
Some years pass.
And he gets a visit from
a reporter from America.
Yeah.
Who's like trying to interview him about this, and then he tells him about this other explorer who's mentioned a couple other times throughout the film. I think his name was like Hamill or something. And he had done like an expedition, and he's saying that he's going to go into the jungle in Brazil, and with like an army,
as Americans do.
And Charlie Hunnam's like, I can't let this happen. And he's like, how did you even like know that I was here?
Your son wrote
this. Yeah, Tom Holland wrote them.
Yeah.
And he's like talking to Tom Holland. He's like, we can't let them do this, Dad. And he's like, let's go back together.
He's like, all right, well, we got to ask permission.
So they go and they talk to the mom, and she's
mom's like,
okay. Like, she's
I'm
like,
used to it at this point.
I'm tired of arguing.
She's like, I already fucking tried to hold your dad back twice. I'm tired. I'm old. Just go. I can't stop you. I know I can't. And, I bet she wish she fucking did, though.
Yeah. So then they decide to do it, and they like announce it. So like a bunch of American newspapers are going to fund it.
Yeah. And then that causes their own country to be like, oh shit, we got
the RGS is like, okay, we'll fund it, but they find out that Sir George Ian McDermott had passed away because which is sad, like another sad thing, because they were like super buddy, and they had the falling out because of James Murray, who they find out had mutinied in like Alaska.
No.
They hear a story about like how he had done like a mutiny in Alaska.
I missed that part.
Like he's a fucking asshole again.
Huh. Skip that part. I must have just spaced out.
They go to visit Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Who's like a dad now. He has a wife, and he's like,
this scene was super sad. I totally get it, but I was like, I want you to go with him. I totally understood.
Percy tries to convince Henry to like go with him one last time. He's like, I can't. I have a kid now. I have a wife. He's like no longer. He was an alcoholic throughout like the entire film. He's like drunk the first time they meet, and he's like has everything together. He's like, I can't do it. And he's like, I had a kid at the same age. And he's like, yeah, but I can't do it. I'm sorry. And he's like, if you could see my boy now and how like his tenacity to go do this, like all this stuff, then you would want to go as well. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, and it is really sad.
Yeah,
because like this is like the adventure of a lifetime.
Like, I wish you well. Like, I really would love to, but I just can't.
Yeah. So they go, just the two of them.
Yep.
And they decide that they're like gonna try to like live with the natives in the sense like they're gonna like talk to each of them and go to the villages and like learn from them to see if they can find this place. And that's what they do is they like go to each village and they're learning.
Yep. And at some point they just came across a village that wasn't as nice as some of the other ones.
They're walking through the jungle, just the regular jungle, and they see like they hear something in the front of them, and he does the same thing he usually does. He goes, amigo, and he's like trying to walk through, and obviously they aren't. Yeah. They're not okay with it. So they start running. Yep. And they like run and they find so like this giant like whole tribe of people are like running after them, and they're running and they run over a hill, and they find another tribe of people who like throw a spear and they throw it over them.
By the way, I forgot to mention this. A lot of the tribes he had visited the last time he was here are no longer there.
Yeah. Well, like, and the main thing is like even that like big village.
Yeah, because he's like, I wish you could have seen it.
Industrialization and stuff, like the rubber plate, that's completely gone.
Yeah.
Just getting sad. I'm getting sad thinking about this. Sorry. So they throw this, and then they think maybe we're safe because this tribe pretty much just saved us.
And they're a lot nicer than the other tribe. But they basically
take them to their village, and
realistically, it probably wasn't like this. But in terms of like trying to give,
we don't know anything that happened after their last like meetup.
Yeah, like when there was like that one town and they write like their final letter and
then we don't know anything that happens afterwards. So this is like this is
like a fictitious
ending instead of just ending.
That's kind of meant to like be like a sad but loving,
kind of hopeful as well.
Yeah, because it's a very beautiful. Like they don't. It's not like brutal. Like they're just like depicting what probably realistically happened, where they were like probably like impaled, or
they were probably just killed. Like they were probably just they walked through the jungle. They met a village that wasn't friendly,
and probably just got speared.
And that was it.
Yeah. But they go through a ritual. They have time to like.
Tom Holland and him are like, Tom Holland's like, we're gonna die. He's like, that's not our destiny. But then it keeps like going, and it's obvious that
he's like,
they might die.
Such a mysterious world we live in.
Yeah, I really love the speech he made. He's like, we live in such a mysterious world, but me and you went on a journey that no one else will like ever experience. And I really like Tom Holland's performance in this scene particularly.
Yeah.
He's like tearing up because it goes like it's such a like juxtaposition like compared to like Charlie Hunnam, who's like been this like solemn like stone face this whole time because like this is all he's done. This is his life's work.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland, who like is like 22.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna die. And they carry them to the river, and it's like a river that you see in like a lot of like spiritual cultures. So like they send them to like the next life. That's what it's supposed to signify.
Yeah.
And the chief even like says, let's send their spirits home or something like that.
Yep.
And it's not even like, even if they imply that they kill them, it's not in like a savage way or anything. It's like
they like
spirits are
give
lost.
them like a paralyzing.
It's
like they drink something and they kind of like become like paralyzed, and then they like carry them in like you see like torch lights, and they like just take them down to the river. And
it's more to like signify that they're not killing them just to kill them. They're killing them because like they see like the human body as something different, and that they need to help their spirits pass or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it shows this scene, then it cuts back a couple years later to the wife, and she like is at the RGS, and she's like, I got a letter that somebody had seen my son and my husband living with the natives.
And the dude's like,
and he's like, it's been
so
years.
Many years, dude.
But I like to imagine maybe they did.
And this person, in the movie, this part's probably not historically accurate at all.
He had, when they had left, Charlie Hunnam had been like, this compass, it was like a compass.
It's like a golden compass.
He had been given it or something. I think he had been given it by George.
Yeah.
But he's like, if you get this in the mail, it means I might send this to you if I decide I don't want to come back.
Yeah. Like I made it and I don't.
And she has it. She like gives it to him. She's like, this was with the letter. And she gives it to him. So it's like, it's supposed to be like this hopeful ending. Like maybe they didn't die. Like maybe they're okay.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. Like I'm fine with this ending. Because we won't ever know. So.
I won't say we won't ever know. Because I mean, they could
theoretically find the skeletal remains.
Yeah. But it's very unlikely that we'll know anytime soon.
Yeah.
And plus, who knows? Maybe his body was cremated along with the rest of the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
Is that still on fire?
Probably.
I haven't heard anything about it, but I don't remember
it's because
hearing
people like to just
result.
forget about big things that are happening. Like how Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water after 4.5 years.
There is a lot going on right now, particularly with vapes.
This was produced by Brad Pitt, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Brad Pitt, have you seen like the stuff that he's produced?
No,
it's it's like the lineup's pretty like solid. He seems like a pretty like
does he have any directorial credits? Because I was gonna say,
but I feel like he produced Okja.
Damn,
he produced 12 Years a Slave, Moonlight.
Yeah, most like actors when they turn director, they can be okay.
Some of them are decent, some of them
but
are
a
good,
lot of them
but
are really bad.
I feel like Brad Pitt could do a very good job.
Yeah,
like have you like the interviews that have been coming out recently, like about Ad Astra and like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like he obviously is like a pretty big film buff. Like,
yeah.
I remember I was watching one where they were like trying to talk about Ad Astra, and he's like, "Have you seen Timothy Chalamet?" He likes to talk about him, and I'm like, "That's so funny."
God, man,
I would love to just talk to Brad Pitt.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing. It's like, God, I want to meet Brad Pitt. He seems like he'd be such a down and cool to earth guy. He should start like a podcast or something.
Yeah.
I'd listen to like the Brad Pitt hour every week or whatever you'd want to do.
The pit stop.
Oh my God, Brad Pitt! Why haven't you done this? As if he's fucking listening. He's one of our like 30.
You want to know another? You want to know another relation to Okja?
What?
Same cinematographer.
Okay.
Also, the cinematographer did stuff for. He's worked with Michael Haneke a couple of times. Like he did
what movies?
He did the remake of Funny Games, I believe.
Oh, nice.
And he did a movie called Amour.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen like any of his like really acclaimed movies. I really want to see like The Piano Teacher and Amour and White Ribbon and stuff like that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
He's doing he did the cinematography for the upcoming movie Uncut Gems by the Safdie brothers.
Oh, is that the one with Adam Sandler?
That I'm very excited.
I've seen it going around, but I haven't watched the trailer yet.
7.
Okay.
And then he did it for Anima, the like short film that PTA
Tom
did.
York and PTA,
He's a pretty big cinematographer, and I did really like the shots in this film. There were some really good ones. Like,
it was really good looking.
And I really liked the composition in the film as well. Like, some of it was more subtle, and the only other composition that like they're credited for like movies at least is The Immigrant, which is another James Gray film. So that's great.
Yeah, I might have to watch that.
But fuck, I literally like every technical aspect of the film I was a really big fan of. Like I said it to Thomas not on the podcast, but this is my favorite film we've watched so far. For the podcast, not just us.
Yeah.
I was completely in love with this film. I really want to rewatch it, but I really want to watch all of James Gray's film now.
Yeah.
Because I really loved Ad Astra as well, and after just these 2 movies, I'm like, if he keeps this up, like, he might become like one of my favorite directors.
He's definitely on my radar now, and I will be keeping an eye on his like IMDb listings and seeing what his future projects are.
And he was like the main writer for the film. He's like the main writer for all his films as well.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
He's worked with Joaquin Phoenix like 4 times.
I'm becoming more and more infatuated with every statement you make.
Every time I say, he's gay. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God!
He was born in 1969.
Yes! Oh, my God!
Some of the movies I want to see with him that he directed, like, they have Mark Wahlberg in it. I fucking hate Mark Wahlberg. Like, as a person.
I can handle it. I don't like him as a person either.
But, like, there's one called The Yards that him and Joaquin Phoenix are in.
Would you say that you hate Mark Wahlberg as much as Mark Wahlberg hates Vietnamese people?
Yes. But yeah, it seems like he's like every movie he's done besides Ad Astra and Lost City of Z, I feel like Joaquin Phoenix is in. And there's like 5 others.
I will definitely have to check those out. Because this was great. Loved this movie.
Or he's in 4 of the other ones, yeah. 4 of the 5 other films he's made.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
Well, I give this one a 9.
I'm gonna give this is my first 10, baby!
So that's a 9.5?
Now, both of us have given a film a 10, I believe.
Yeah.
You gave...
Eraserhead?
Oh, never mind. You give it 2 because you gave El Topo a 10 as well.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. So 9.5. Guys, watch this movie.
Yeah, it's
This is our highest rated film together as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because I gave El Topo an 8, so that was a 9 together, and it was a 9 for Eraserhead with Mio and Joe. So I fucking love this movie. Like, I was thinking about it so much, and I watched it just a couple days ago, and I've like constantly been thinking about it.
Yeah, no, this was a really great one. I always enjoy like historical movies.
And I just love how like sympathetic and like progressive the film is, and this character is, and I can't wait to read the book.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got classic next week.
You do?
For movies. And I am picking, hold on, I got it somewhere. It's a doozy. It's from 1970.
I'm not familiar with
1973 by a director named Peter Bogdanovich.
Oh, okay.
It's called Paper Moon.
Okay. I think I've heard of this one.
It's very highly rated on everything. I've heard pretty good things. It's about like a con man who like gets stuck with like a young girl who like might be his daughter, and then he just starts like, do you want to start conning with me?
What the fuck is with you and picking movies where people want to sleep with their daughters?
I didn't. She's like, what? No.
Didn't you say he just became infatuated with someone who might be his daughter?
No, he gets like stuck with a girl, a young girl.
Oh.
She's like 8 or like 10.
Oh, okay.
No, she just get, if I said infatuated, I did not mean it. I'm very tired. I may have accidentally said it, but I don't think I did.
I might have just, because I was kind of looking at my phone at the same time, so. Because I was going to screenshot Paper Moon. So I was going to say, World of Conoco, Visitor Q.
If you've ever heard of the movie The Last Picture Show from 71, it's the same director.
Okay, I have heard of that.
It's available for free on Canopy if you do have a library card or you're a university student or anything. So watch it on there. If not, you can rent it plenty of places for $2 or $3. So that is my pick.
Birdman.
Birdman. Okay, I've seen like half of Birdman.
Okay.
I watched it like. I may have finished it, but I think I might have been drunk. That was like one of the phases where I was drinking a lot as a funny, like 18-year-old. I mean,
21-year-old?
yeah. So I'm very excited to watch it. Plus, won Best Picture, right?
Yeah.
I have to watch it for my Best Picture watches anyway, so perfect. So
Yeah.
Birdman, is that on Netflix? Maybe.
I think so. It might be.
Let's see where you can watch Birdman.
I've got it on.
I love
Right.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, no, the whole cast in this movie is great.
Oh, Birdman is not available to stream, looks like. But
Get wrecked.
there is plenty of places to rent it for about $3, $4. So that's what we're watching. And yeah, tune in next time.
Yeah.
Tell your grandma.
Tell your dog. And
Toodaloo.
toodaloo.
Yeehaw.